All right, if you had trouble with this question, it's probably because you didn't learn all these words. You don't have confidence in the definitions. And so our strategy here is really just to memorize formulas and vocab and whatever we need to hit these statistics questions. There's a very easy way to think about this, but let's look at the story here. The table above lists the lengths to the nearest inch of a random sample of 21 brown bullhead fish. Okay, great. The outlier measurement of 24 inches is an error, so that's here. And we can see it's very far out, right? That's an error. Of the mean, median, and range of the values listed, which will change the most if the 24-inch measurement is removed from the data? Okay, so the first thing here is that the mean will definitely change, right? If the mean involves all the numbers. So the mean is the average, and the average is always calculated as the sum of the numbers over the number of numbers. So it might not change a lot, but it's going to change no matter what. Even a little decimal point somewhere is going to move because you're adding up different values and you're dividing by a different value. So the odds of something staying the same are very, very slim. Like that doesn't really happen, especially if it's an outlier, if it's something that's on the edge of our data set. So the mean will change, okay? So that's part of this. Now, the median might not. We can calculate the median. I would try to do that, very quickly and just kind of cross things out. So I could say, okay, 1, 2, we're going to just cross out from each side. I'm already nervous. I'm trying to talk and do it at the same time, and it's very hard. Okay, well, that makes sense. And then this. And so now I'm going to focus in on this. We've got 3 left, and they're all 12. So what that tells me is that if I removed one, I'd still have a 12 as the median because a bunch of the middle numbers are 12, so that's not really going to change. So the median isn't going to change at all, and that means that they're all not going to change by the same amount because the median will change by 0 and the mean will change by some amount. I'd really rather not calculate it. And I can get away with not calculating it because I have memorized what the range is. The range is the maximum minus the minimum. So that's going to change by a lot. To start, my maximum is 24, but if I remove that, my new maximum is 16. So my starting range is 24 minus 8, 16 inches. If I remove that 24, though, my new range is 16 minus 8. That's just 8 inches. That's a huge difference. There is no possible way the mean is going to move by that much. It's just not going to happen. So I would confidently pick C here without calculating the average. And the shortcut that I kind of could have taken at the beginning is to just really understand what these words measure. So the mean and the median are basically 2 ways of measuring the middle of the data. They don't always produce the same value. They're different ways of measuring the middle. One is weighted, one is not. But they basically are about the middle of the data. Whereas the range is much more focused on the ends of the data. And so if I look at this and the story is telling me to remove one of the ends, then I know from the start that the end is going to be much more affected. Or to put it differently, the values that depend on the end of my data are going to be much more affected. So the range from the start was looking like it was going to be the answer because they're talking about the end of the data. The range involves the end of the data, and that is a link that's going to show up in the math. If you are confident in the definitions of these things, then those kinds of shortcuts are okay. But if they were only asking about mean and median and let's say mode, which are all kind of measures of the middle, we might not be able to make those kinds of quick assumptions. We might need to do the work and the calculation. So you have to judge based on the situation and kind of see if they're leading you in a certain direction. Here it's clear they're telling us like the end of the thing is changing. So it was obvious. If it's not obvious, then do the work and guarantee yourself the points by taking the time.